Imagine a planet so extreme. It hides a literal treasure beneath its scorching surface. Deep within Mercury, there might be more than just rock. Could it be home to a layer of pure diamond? Mercury is a massive planetary body. It is smaller, thinner, and older than the other planets in the galaxy. In addition to being the nearest planet to the Sun, direct observation from Earth has been all but impossible for generations due to the bright Sun. Furthermore, the majority of study missions were impeded by bright sunshine. Mercury could not be extensively investigated until NASA's Messenger spacecraft entered its orbit in 2011. Since then, we have learned that near Mercury's North Pole, carbon atoms and water ice are dormant. Not only that, but recent findings raise the intriguing possibility that an actual treasure, an 18-kilometer thick covering of flawless diamonds, may be concealed somewhere in the cosmos. And there's more. Another study concluded that there may be hidden glaciers beneath the planet's surface, which could potentially support life. Astrologically, Mercury is an outer factory. The innermost planet in the solar system is only twice as far from Earth as it is now. NASA's Mariner 10 flew by Mercury for the first time in March 1974, followed by two more flybys in 1974 and 1975. More than 4,000 images of the planet were taken by unmanned spaceships and about 50% of the Earth's surface. Another visitor, NASA's Messenger mission, orbited Mercury from 2011 to 2015 before landing on the surface. The third mission, Bepi-Colombo, in collaboration with the European Space Agency, ESA, and the Japanese Space Agency, JAXA, left Earth in October 2018. It is expected that Bepi-Colombo offers a comprehensive description of Mercury and provides new insights into it. Evolutionary history, however, it won't enter orbit until December next year. Despite these small extensions, we now know about Mercury's properties. Its average diameter is 1,400 kilometers greater than our Moon, at slightly about 4,880 kilometers. However, none of the other planets in the solar system can match it in terms of drastic temperature swings. Even though it reaches 430 degrees Celsius during the day, the nighttime low is minus 170 degrees Celsius. Given that Mercury is only 58 million kilometers from the Sun, it is understandable why it appears to be a planetary oven. Mercury is the planet with the quickest orbit around the Sun, taking only 88 days to complete. Mercury was thought to be in the same sign as the Sun and to have a finite revolution. We now understand that rotation is a fractional cut, meaning that for every second revolution around the Sun, it rotates 3 times on its axis. Classified as an Earth-like planet, Mercury has a solid surface, but that's where the similarities end. Its rough, porous, and dark surface is a rock that looks like a hole in the Moon. Interestingly, Mercury has no natural satellites, and some experts have suggested that Venus predates it, which may explain why these are the only non-luminous planets in the solar system. But even though Mercury's surface looks like an inactive moon, its interior is much more energetic. The planet is very large with about 65% iron and a diameter of 4,100 kilometers, which is 84% of the size of the planet. In fact, Mercury is more massive than the Moon itself. Despite its size, the parent has room for something unexpected, a real treasure. To understand this property, we need to consider the unique structure of Mercury. The planet's crust and oceans contain 1 and 3% carbon in the form of graphite, respectively, which is about 100 parts per million. This carbon gives Mercury its dark surface, which reflects only 6% of sunlight into space. But in this planet, graphite turns into pure diamond. Research by Yanggong Zhang of the High Pressure Science and Technology Center in Beijing suggests that Mercury plays an important role in interior design. Although Mercury and Earth look very different, these observations suggest that below the surface, Mercury may have galactic properties. Could Mercury, the closest planet to the Sun, be hiding secrets far beyond its scorching surface? New discoveries suggest that deep within, Mercury might hold both a literal treasure and potential signs of life. Like Earth, Mercury may have been covered by a large magma ocean in its early days. But since the graphite is less dense than the liquid ocean, it accumulates on the surface and forms Mercury's crust. But it's different. This graph has also entered the interior of the planet and the mantle, and continues to enter the interior. This is how scientists began to discover the bright secret of this planet. They focused on one important question. Did the carbon remain as graphite in the core mantle region, or did the pressure compress it into diamond? Scientists calculated that the pressure in this region can reach 7 GPa. To uncover the truth, they conducted high-pressure tests and simulations to compare how Mercury's materials behave under these extreme conditions. The temperature of this region varies between 1700 and 2000 degrees Celsius, but the floor is thick. Unlike previous studies, the researchers added a new element to Mercury's original recipe: sulfur, which we now know is abundant on the planet. By combining sulfur with carbon silicates and an iron-silicon alloy for the core, scientists have created a mixture that lowers the freezing temperature of Mercury's magma ocean. Because it contains about 11% sulfur, the high pressure and heat at the bottom of the magma ocean was enough to turn some of the coal into diamonds. Here's the rub. Although this brilliant layer is only between 0.1 and 200 meters thick, it can be enhanced with key diamonds. As these diamond crystals, lighter than the remaining molten metal, rose to the core mantle region, they may have accumulated into a diamond layer that is now 15 to 18 kilometers thick. But the natural properties of this sparkling stone cannot be easily removed. This massive diamond deposit lies more than 600 kilometers below the surface of Mercury and is inaccessible. While this trend is exciting, at this point it's just a guess. So, is there any way to prove that Mercury has a layer of diamonds hidden inside? The answer is yes, but only indirectly. The diamond layer is so thin that it cannot be seen from the outside, even with advanced measuring techniques. However, some diamonds were brought to the surface by volcanoes, currents, or impacts in Mercury's early days. This phenomenon shows how the Earth's crust rises to the surface when magma rises from volcanoes. According to experts, the search for the hidden treasures of Mercury should focus on the state called magnesium. Messenger's probes found high levels of magnesium in the region, suggesting that the material formed here at great depth. However, it remains to be seen if a diamond is part of this deep case. Future missions like Bepi-Colombo, which will explore Mercury next year, may be the answer to is there life on Mercury? If Alexis Rodriguez gets on, it can't be ruled out. The lead author of a study published in the Planetary Science Journal points to a surprising phenomenon between Earth and Mercury: natural ice sheets. However, they aren't your typical ice cream shops. These ices on Mercury are created by saline fluxes that transport volatile substances like carbon dioxide, water, and nitrogen to the planet's surface. The MESSENGER data, which showed regions of extraordinary concentrations of trace elements, led to the discovery of Mercury's salt ices. It can be inferred from mythical pits and pit structures that material was once extracted and deposited there. According to expert models, Mercury's ices, which are generated by salt flow, are expected to hold their worth for almost 1 billion years after they are formed. This is where it gets interesting. Ecosystems survive in some of the harshest locations on Earth, including as the Atacama Desert, because to a unique salt compound. This begs an intriguing query. Could Mercury also have subsurface sensors that are better hosted on Earth? If so, these nests may hold the key to understanding whether life can survive in these extreme environments. But the significance of this discovery does not end there. These findings can also be applied to exoplanets similar to Mercury, suggesting that life may exist underground on distant worlds with similar conditions. And if you're intrigued by the idea of finding planetary treasures and hidden life, be sure to subscribe and help us update future discoveries.